The Plural of Horror, also horror. March 3rd, Ukraine, border to Poland. For several days, 50,000 people a day have been arriving here. Women and children, but also old and frail people who are pushed across the border in wheelchairs, passing tents of several aid organizations. 50,000 people. Not a crowd of people, not a mass of people. 50,000 human beings. There is this old stupid saying that goes that the eyes of a person do not lie, and never has this been so clear to me as it is here. The war has burned itself into the eyes of these people. Those with the glassy eyes come from Kiev. They march 2 to 3 days to reach the border with Poland. Those with the bloodshot, the red eyes, come from the embattled suburbs of the capital city. At this time, most of us do not know the names of these suburb cities. We do not know yet the names of Gostomel, Irpen, Bucha, Borodyanka. And then there are those with the black eyes that deeply disappeared in their eye cavities. They keep moving slowly. They sway, they stop abruptly. It's almost like a gray caterpillar. These people come from the east and they have already lost everything. For some of them, it is only the beloved cat or dog that they carry across the border, tightly clung to their chest. A woman is expected by a family member here. He hugs her tightly. They both weep silently. "Where do you have your luggage?" the man asks her. The red-haired woman, shrugging the shoulders, holds a small plastic bag in front of his face. That's all. Older mothers hesitantly pull their daughters across the border. The young women's faces are gray. Their eyes are glazed, bloodshot, and dark. I do suspect the worst. As I approach them, the mothers turn to me and whisper, "Something happened with Russian soldiers." The same thing happens this week, twice, with other mothers who tell me the story about their daughters. She experienced something bad. 10 days before anyone here in Europe talks about Bucha, 3 Ukrainian mothers talk to me, and the extent of the war and the suffering, it is clear for those who look and for those who do not look away. As mothers with children emerge from the Ukrainian border house, a camouflage troop of American volunteers trudges along the same path towards Ukraine to fight. In this small no man's land between the borders, the path is just a mere 2 meters wide. And on the left, the fleeing people sneak out, and on the right, the volunteers march in. Again and again on this narrow path, the big marching backpacks of the amateur soldiers are rubbing and touching the luggage of the fleeing people. It's the sound of these two materials, this friction noise. It's this friction. It's an auditory memorial that is burnt and ingrained in my memory. It's the sound of war and peace, touching. The sound of displaced and defenders rubbing against each other. E40 highway, March 13th of March. We left at 5 o'clock to go to the Ukrainian base of Yaraviv. Here, international volunteers are integrated into the Ukrainian armed forces. There are apparently also field hospitals there, and this is what we as journalists would like to check up on. Our cell phones start to ring. The Ukrainian Civil Defense warning application shows us that there is an air alert over the whole territory of Ukraine. We drive on. There's another air alert for our province, Yaraviv, where we are. We stop, we check the situation, we're confused. But at the horizon we hear, literally out of the blue, thunder, rumbling. It's the wrath of God. Certainty, quite quickly, the base to which we were heading for was attacked. 10 kilometers in the east, the base was destroyed by 30 Russian rockets. 100 Ukrainian soldiers die. Possibly dozens of foreign legionnaires too. I look into my maps, because I always travel with analog maps as a journalist, and above this base, Yaraviv, I had written potential military target. I cross out the word potential. We smoke, helplessly, restlessly by the roadside. One cigarette, another one, another one. And fire trucks and ambulances go by. Today, Russia tried to kill us too. May, highway to the east. Russian forces have turned the highways into graveyards. At a gas station, we find several wrecks of private cars. The fleeing people had written Ludi and Dieti on the cars. Ludi means people and Dieti means children. Next to this writing, we find bullet holes as thick as fists, large caliber, on people. The car seats, shreds, what remains, dark red, rusty, brown discolored. Whoever bombs whole hospitals, by now there has been more than 200 hospitals that were destroyed, also apparently shoots at passenger cars with the inscription, Ludi, Dieti, children, people. People here tried in vain to explain to other people that one does not kill children, and they failed. June 4th, Slovak-Ukrainian border. I leave Ukraine for another time, for the 5th time after the full-scale invasion in February, via a small border crossing towards Slovakia. A bus is supposed to collect Ukrainian refugees here every few hours and take them to the next biggest city. I carry my bulletproof vest, I put it in the bus, and the song by Joan Osborne is playing, What If God Was One of Us? Behind me, 2 Ukrainian women are happily singing along the chorus of this song. What if God was one of us, just a stranger on a bus, trying to make his way home? They both break into an almost heartbreaking and eerie sob. Home. And they cry for several minutes, unstoppably. It's a tremendous breaking of the dam. Then silence, followed by a loud, resigning sigh. Oh, Gospodin, oh God. And I am also crying now, silently, behind them. For myself, and not since the first time, since the war started. Thank you.